This afternoon I'll talk about the Lean Startup, and the aim for me is not just to explain you what it is, but just to show you how to use it for your own project. The aim is that at the end of this talk, you know exactly what to do and how to adapt it to your project. 70% of South African startups fail in their first year. So my question to you is, do you know why they fail and why it takes long for them to discover that actually it doesn't work? Do you have any idea? No idea at all. Okay, so I think that this presentation might help you, and it will be a good thing then to look at it. Mainly it's because the product that they develop doesn't have any customers. Customers don't want to buy the product. So it means that they've worked for a long time, for some people like more than 6 months on a business plan. They try to develop really nice things. They build a product, they develop prototypes. They've done all the work. They go on the market, they try to sell it, and just no one buys it. And that's where it ends. They failed, and they have to close the startup. It can take a lot of time and a lot of money. So the aim of the Lean Startup is actually to try to eradicate that, to stop wasting time and wasting money. Has any of you already heard about Lean Startup, about the concept? Do you know what it is? Yes, you've heard about it? Okay. So the aim today is to define it, but in very easy words, and the thing is not to do something too theoretical, but more like practical and how to use it on your own startup. So the definition that I like to give for Lean Startup is actually fail fast, succeed faster. That's the only thing that you need to remember about it. The aim is to constantly improve what you're doing and to try to go by very small iteration in a world of a lot of uncertainty. So you don't know anything about what will happen in 6 months, just don't plan it. Just go and go with the flow and try to see what you can change every day. That's a bit the spirit of the Lean Startup. So you have here some definition, like scientific process to make entrepreneur decision, continuous innovation process to successfully create new products in condition of extreme uncertainty. And this definition, I think, is exactly spot on for social projects. You usually try to solve a problem that hasn't been solved before. It's a social problem, so you'll probably create new services or new product that haven't been tested before. You are the people that are most at risk to be in the 70% of startups that fail the first year, because it's just new. And there's a lot of uncertainty if it will work or not. If you just copy a product that works, you know the market. You can have a lot of data. You can just search it on Google and you get everything. But if you create a new product, there's nothing. You have to figure out yourself your data, and the aim of the Lean Startup is actually to try to help you to do that. And in doing that, we need one thing. It's called validated learning. So the Lean Startup methodology actually comes from the lean manufacturing. You might have heard about it in your studies. It's what we also call Toyotism, because it was developed by Toyota. And we replace, in the Lean Startup, we replace the production of very high quality products by validating learning. So what we're looking for is not to have like the best product ever, but it's to learn every time we launch a new product. Every time we do a small iteration, we want to learn something. And we want to be sure that we learned it. So it's a scientific method to learn new things while working on your project. It's of course backed by empirical data. It means that it's not something that you'll find in books. It's not theory. You just go, you take your idea, you go in front of your customers, and you just try to see what they say. Either they like it and you can continue, or they don't like it. You learned a lesson, that's your validated learning, and you can go back to your desk and try to see what failed and have a new iteration to work it. So actually I would say that the validated learning that is obtained through this experiment of going to see your customers, it's kind of fail fast, but fail small. The aim is to go and to try to see what doesn't work. You have to fail. You will fail. Every entrepreneur fails. That's a given. But the best is not to fail after a year when you invested all your time and all your money, and when you just see that you failed, well, actually it's too late. You can try to change it. So the aim will be to try to fail fast. In order to do that, you'll have to do iteration and always the same thing. It's called the feedback loop. So you take your idea, you try to build a product. It has to be as fast and as simple as possible. You have to put the least resources you can in this product, and then you'll measure what happened. So you'll give it to a customer, you'll give it to someone to use it, and you'll see what they say. They'll say, I don't like the color, I don't like this feature, actually I don't need that, this doesn't solve my problem, I don't like it. This will be a learning. You analyze these data, you learn, and you create your new idea. It takes into account, of course, what has been said by the customers, and that's where you do again the loop, and you do that constantly. There's a lot of different keywords and concepts that you have to know about lean startup. I won't define all of that, but I'll try to explain you what it is using the tool that I would like to present right now. You can find all of that in the links that are at the end of this presentation, and that I think you can access online. I don't know where, but yeah. So you'll be able to find all of them and to have more information about all of them. The tool that I want you to use is called the Javelin board. The Javelin board has been developed by Lean Startup Machine, and it's the perfect tool to use to apply the theory of Lean Startup to your social project, and I'll show you why. There's two parts in this Javelin board. Basically, it's a big board where you'll put your hypotheses, your ideas, and you'll see how to use them and how to test them. So you have a part that we call the brainstorm part, and another one that is execute. As you see, the execute part is way bigger because the aim is not to do a lot of theory and deal with your idea, but more to test them on the field. To do that, you have to break down your big business idea in small hypotheses. And these hypotheses can be of three types. The first one is the customer, the second one is the problem, and the third one is the solution. And the solution is really the third one. You shouldn't start with the solution because you're not sure that your problem actually exists and that your clients actually have this problem. So that's also one of the main problem that these startups that fail in the first year have, is that they just go straight to a product. They're like, this is the product that will save this problem. But they're not sure if anyone has this problem, and they're not sure who has this problem. So the aim will be to focus first on your clients, second on the problem, and then only try to come up with a solution for that. Before you manage to be sure that you have clients and that you have a problem that is worth solving, do not try to develop anything. That would be time wasted. So once you have that, you just do a brainstorm. What you do is you try to find 5 types of clients, 5 types of problem that is linked to your vision. So of course, you have to have kind of an idea of what you would like to do. You could try to solve, I don't know, a problem of access to clean water, if I take something that is close to my activity. Then you know basically who could be your clients. It could be a city, a municipality, it could be the people that actually drink the water, it could be a lot of things. You all put them in the customer on the first line, then you'll put the problem. The problem could be an access to water, there's no water anywhere, or it's too far, or the water is not clean. That will be your problem. And the third thing that you need is the assumption. The assumptions are the things that have to be true in order for your hypothesis to be true. So I'll take an example from another Lean Startup workshop that I've did. When the idea was the problem was that first-hand toys were too expensive. So parents couldn't actually afford to buy new toys for their kids. So that was one of the problems. The customer, of course, were the parents. And the assumption that we had, and one of the riskiest one that we chose was would you accept that your kid play with a toy that actually you don't know where it comes from? It was used by other people before. It's not brand new. Do you think that it will be a problem, that it's not clean? What will be the risk that you'll have? We thought that was the riskiest assumption, because if people were not ready to let their kid play with second-hand toys, there was no point trying to solve the problem of what substitute can you find to first-hand toys. So that's what is an assumption? You try to see all the risk in your problem and in your customer hypothesis. Once you have that, you try to have 5 for each of them. So you have 5 customers, and you'll just take the one that for you has the most potential. So the kind of group of customer and problem, and you just put it apart. That's the first one you'll work on. And you put it on the Javelin board, and it will help you to do your experimentation. Then you put your assumptions. You also have to get 5 assumptions. Of course, you can get more than that, but if you have under it, it's probably that you should brainstorm a bit more. And now you'll have to start to do your experiment. To do all of that, you need 15 minutes. So it means that you're still at the beginning of your project. You just try to find your clients, you find the problem, you find the assumptions. 5 minutes each. In a group of 5 people, it should be okay. You've just spent 15 minutes. If you fail right now, and if the experiment is not successful, you've wasted 15 minutes. It's not much. I think everyone can afford 15 minutes. The experiments can be a lot of different things, but at this stage, when you just have the idea of your customers and your problem, it will be an interview. After, in the next stage, it can be what we call a pre-sale or concierge. I will explain what it is later. For the interview, you'll just have to choose a success criteria. So it means that before you go on the field and you ask questions to your potential customers, you want to know exactly what you want to achieve. So it could be that if I take again the example of the second-hand toys, it could be that we want to have at least 70% of the parents that we interview that says, it's not a problem for me. My kids already use second-hand toys. I have no problem with that. I'm not an hygiene freak, and it's fine if they play with other toys than the one that I buy brand new. So you define that before you go on the field. You're like, I want 70% of people saying, yes, it's fine with me, and I can buy second-hand toys. Then you go on the field, and you try to see what is the result. And from this result only, you take a decision. So this experiment should take you another, let's say, 3 hours. So it means that after 3 hours, you know if your problem and your customers actually are good or not. And if it's not, you take a decision and you change it. And you will change it according to the learnings. So it's very important in this experiment, so in this interview, to actually write down everything that people tell you. So you can, for example, see that, well, actually they already use second-hand toys because they just exchange it in the family, or it's a problem for them if they don't know who used the second-hand toys before. So if it's in the family, it's okay. If it's outside, it's not. A lot of things like that will be interesting learnings for you if you need to pivot and if you don't have a success in this first experience. I just used the word pivot, and I'll explain you what it is. So either it's not successful, you have to pivot, or it's successful and you persevere. Of course, it's easier to persevere, but usually in the first step, you have to pivot. What is a pivot? It's a structured course correction designed to test a new fundamental hypothesis about your project. Basically, it's not just changing the color of your product. If people don't like it in yellow, don't put it in red. That won't change everything. It's changing something really important in your idea. It could be changing the clients. You tried that, you thought that selling second-hand toys would be good for parents. Perhaps not. Just try to sell them to schools. It might be a better market for you. So it's changing something important. Once again, there's a lot of different type of pivots, and I would like to give you some examples. I'll just take the first one. You can find more information on the presentation, so I'll try to go fast. I'll take the zoom-in the zoom-in pivot. And it's a company that for sure you heard about. You all use Twitter, or at least you've heard about it. Twitter actually is not the first product that they developed. The company was called Obeo, and the aim was to create and to share podcasts. It didn't work. The founders could see that actually it was not a product that was flying, so they just asked all the team to brainstorm and to see what they should do. And someone came up with the idea of, instead of sharing the podcast, just sharing a short text about it, and that's called Twitter. No one none of you, I think, heard about the first company I talked about sharing podcast. They just did a zoom in. They had a lot of different services. They just chose one. It's Twitter. Just share the 140 characters. There's all other very famous pivots in the story of big companies, and I'll take again a zoom in just to show you that it's not restricted to technology companies. Actually, it's a technology company, but at that time it wasn't. You've heard about Nokia. Nokia is a very old company created in 1865, and at that time they were doing some paper and rubber. Nothing to see with what they do right now. They just developed an electronic component of the business. And after a while, they saw that actually the paper and rubber industry was not a big thing and it would not develop well. So they chose to just sell everything and concentrate on just one activity, which is mobile phone. And that's why you know Nokia today. Actually, they need to do another pivot because it doesn't work very well for them now. But that's the kind of pivot that you have to do. You just take, let's say that you developed a platform, you just see that people like one feature, but they have no interest in the rest of it. You just scrap half of your work and you just target this feature that people like, and you work only on that. So that's a pivot. Once you've done that, you just go back and you do it again. You do the feedback loop. So what you'll do is you take the same customer. Let's say that you saw that actually the customer was good, but the customer didn't have the problem that you were talking about. So you take another problem and you try again. You'll do the same thing. So you choose the risk assumption for this new hypothesis of customer and problem. You define your success criteria, very important, and you go back on the field. You get either success, at least you have a learning, and you do that again and again until you find something. Only on when you have success, you can persevere and you can try to work on a solution. For the moment, we haven't talked about the solution. It means that you've just worked on your customer and your problem for probably a day without even thinking about what was the solution that you would like to do. So that's one of the main learning that you have to get about Lean Startup, is that you do not focus on solution at the beginning at all. You just try to see if people actually have a problem and who has this problem before even trying to get a solution. Then you can try to develop a solution. Here is in the third round. And the solution will be called at the beginning a minimum viable product. So what is an MVP? It's actually not a product in itself. The aim is just to try the fastest way to test again and to learn new things. So let's say that your idea is to do a website where you would sell any items. Let's say that you would sell some pens, but you don't know what kind of pens people will buy. You just list all the pens that you could sell, and you don't put anything else than this page. And people will click. Like if they want a blue pen, they'll click on the blue pen thinking that they can actually buy it. But they can't. There's nothing on your website except this first page. And then you just count the number of people who clicked on the blue pen, on the red pen, on the black pen. If you have a majority of people clicking on the blue pen, then you know that you should go for this product instead of the others. That's where your market is. That's what people want. So it's kind of a fake product, if you want, just to test the reaction of the market. Of course, you try not to lose these potential customers. So as soon as they click, you just tell them, well, sorry, coming soon. Please leave your email address and we'll come back to you or whatever. But that's the kind of MVP that you could get. An MVP can be anything. In the next stage, you'll also develop MVPs that will be way more developed. And it could be final products, but you want to test something special on this product. So you'll just put this feature. So it's clearly not, it's kind of a build, measure, learn, feedback loop product only. The aim is to learn and nothing else. And I like this quote of Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn. He said, if you're not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late. And that's exactly the spirit of the Lean Startup. You shouldn't try to work on your desk trying to get like the best product ever, and once you think that it's ready, you release it. What if people don't like it? Well, then you've just wasted your time. So just try by small iteration to get to the perfect product, but learning every time you launch a new product what people want and what people don't want. And then you can just adapt your product and you don't waste your time, and more importantly, you don't waste your money. Usually when you set up a startup, you bootstrap it, you don't have a lot of finance, so don't waste it. Be very careful about what the resources that you use, and the lean startup is about trying to reduce these resources. So you get there. You have the third learning, and know you have something that is successful or not, you pivot or not, but you know how to do it. Every time you try to build a new product just to test some features and to learn. So the aim is really to learn and you start again. This is not something just for startups. Even big companies use it. The aim is to test new ideas and new products. So every time you want to improve your product, you can do a lean startup workshop on it and just try to learn new things. So it's important just to remember, you don't have to stop at any time to use that. You'll use it all the time when you develop new things. The three things that are very important to remember from this talk is first that you have to focus on the problem customer hypothesis and not on the solution. Please do not rush trying to get a solution or a product that you would like to build, because that's just something that you like to build. It's not something that your customer might like to buy. So you have to really focus on that. Try to make sure that the problem that you try to address already exists, and that the customers that you want to target have this problem. The second learning is don't make assumptions, get outside the building. That's also key. Don't try to get data from Google, and don't try to read a lot of articles about the product that you want to launch. Just go see the customers. You identified them, just go and talk to them. Just try to sell them the product. Just come with a pen and say, would you buy it? If they say no, you're sure. If they say, wow, that's a nice product, I won't buy it, but I'm sure it will work, it means no. It's the same thing, they won't buy it. So the aim is really to go outside the building, to make experiments, and to see your customers. Talk with them, sell them the product. Before they buy it, don't build the product. You have to wait to actually get validation, to have like a long list of people that say, yes, I want to buy it, before you just start building the product. And the last thing to remember is use this kind of board. So this one is called the Javelin board that you had before. It's a great tool to do it. It's actually the only one that I know that is really designed for that. And once you've done that for quite a while, then you can go to building a real business plan using, for example, a business canvas or something like that, where you'll put more information. But by that time, you'll have traction. You'll have a product that exists, and you'll have a lot of customers that said that they wanted to buy it. So don't waste your time doing a business plan. Don't waste your time doing too much research. Just go on the field, take your idea, take just the problem that you want to solve, the customer that you want to target, and just go and see if it works or not. Once you have that, once you're sure of that, you can try to work on a product. So that's actually, you have the different references and the different articles and YouTube video that you can have a look at if you want more information on the lean startup. And good luck for your social product or social service. Thank you very much.